Gauge Bronies, this is the Bird, back with you again, and welcome here to another live reaction to TCG Fun Times, up against Brayden here. He drafted kind of like his Nuzzle Electric Funhouse deck, up against me, running the Dark Box with Ultra Beasts. This is a pretty important game for both of us. Brayden had 3 wins up until this point, and so did I. So either one of us from here could... Oh no, sorry, I was 4-1, Brayden was 3-2 heading into this game. So Brayden, I think I was... Oh, no, sorry. Brayden is 3-3. So I'm his last opponent, but if I lose my last 2 games against both Brayden and Adrian, that does ruin my chances potentially of getting through to the next round. We do open pretty strong here though. We did just top deck a Cherish Ball, and we can see that we have most of the tools that we need to kind of get going here. As far as I saw, we've got the 1 oak set up, we've got the double red and blue, which means we can start motoring along here. We are going to bench that Lele, we are going to get rolling. So I believe we're going to find the oak setup. Now the tricky part about the oak setup though is that we can't really use it straight away, so I think we're choosing the red and blue here, which is fair because we can get the Weavile into play and get accelerating. So we are going to see an attachment onto the Poipole, or we're going to bench a Darkrai and start setting that up. I don't know what's going on here. We're going to get a Poipole set up. Alright, cool. So we would have only done this if we knew that the Sneasel, that the Weavile was in the deck. So we are going to see an attachment onto Dene, and then he does have the Nuzzle drop, but we see a Judge played, and I was like, no, I had the perfect place next turn. This is my fault, right? So maybe, well, it didn't really matter. Like I needed to try and draw into Oak setup that turn anyway, but I'm really mad now. The reason is because he judged himself into an Emolga, and the Emolga can... What is... Okay, cool. We're back. Dude, my Camtasia like froze on me for a second, so I wasn't sure if I was recording that or not, but he just hits perfectly out of that, and I was like, oh no, this is like playing Aaron all over again. I'm gonna get sacked, but hopefully we can top deck our way out of it. Not really. We have the Zorua, and we have the Poipole, but I'm kind of nervous about benching the Zorua because he has double Nuzzle Gathering, right? So he could just get a knockout, but I was sitting there like, fine. If he does that, we need to set up the Zorua as bait, because we're going to be in top deck mode regardless. Heading into our next turn, we're going to hold the Guzzlord in hand in case we top deck the Naganadel, and then we can just belt this Dedenne for 10, and basically I put down the Zorua as a sacrificial lamb, realizing there was a good chance Brayden would see that and want to knock it out, and it just gave me 2 options, right? If I get into Weavile with red and blue, then I obviously have that option with the Shadow Connection, or if he knocks out the Sneasel here, then I have the option of going into Zoroark, which can be really solid as well. So that's what I liked here. I had 2 solid options that I could look into, and it just depended on which one was more beneficial heading into the game. So you see the Nuzzle drop, and he does choose to go for the Zoroark. So I was like, okay, this gives me a good chance if I can keep that Sneasel alive, that we can, you know, claw this back, right? Unfortunately, that Sneasel's gonna die, because I top deck into a Guzzlord, and I'm like, no, this Judge has ruined me. I just got Nuzzle shot once again, and I'm gonna lose that that Sneasel. And then once that Sneasel's gone, I don't really have a lot else going for me. There's just not a whole lot I can do. So definitely feeling like I'm in the back right now. If I can get to red and blue, there is one play to go for. He saves me by playing Wick. I don't know why he did that, but he just shuffled me out of a horrendous hand and puts me into Hooper plus an Energy plus Altar of the Moon. So I'm like, okay, we can get this thing going now, because we can use Altar of the Moon to retreat the Poipole for free and get the Hooper. We're going to lose Sneasel, which sucks. We're going to be down 2 prizes without basically doing anything. But with the Hooper, we do have the potential to bring the game back. So we lose the Sneasel, he's going to take another prize, and I'm like, okay, here we go. What can we do? So we draw into another Dark Energy, that's fine. We get the Hooper down. We get Energy down, we get the Altar of the Moon down, and we can now retreat out to Hooper, and we can go for the Rogue Ring. And primarily, I was sitting there thinking, like, what do I need to get off of this Rogue Ring? I'm going to be getting red and blue for sure to try and make the Poipole active. And I'm thinking, like, okay, how can I close this game out? What are the 2 cards that I can kind of search for that'll do it. And I know that, like, I'm thinking Stinger Naga could be a thing, right? So I'm definitely going to grab, I'm looking like red and blue and Oak setup, interestingly enough. So maybe back-to-back turns of Rogue Ring and just hoping he doesn't disrupt. And that's why I'm like sitting here like, don't know. But I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go with red and blue plus Oak setup and just go from there. Upon reflection, what I should have done that turn is I should have grabbed one of the Naganadels. I should have grabbed the Ultra Conversion Naganadel, or I should have grabbed the, what do you call it? Should have grabbed the Charging Up Naganadel. Pardon me, because it would have been much smarter getting them down good to go. Because Brayden's getting set up here, and I don't really have a lot of like responses. The only play I can really make next turn to potentially make this game interesting is going for the Stinger, and then seeing if Brayden can respond with a knockout with his current board, which he can't. So let's see what we top deck. We get an Ace to roll. I'm like, okay, this is interesting. So I can either Oak setup, but Oak setup wastes another turn, and that's what I didn't really want to do at this stage. That's why I was like kicking myself, thinking, why did I add Oak setup to hand? Like, what was this card gonna do? And essentially now it's just discard fodder. Thanks to Ultra of the Moon, Hooper can be retreated right now, which is great. I do like that, and I'm just contemplating what I want to do, but I think the play that makes the most sense for me here is to go for the Stinger, because I just don't have a lot going, and being down to 3 prizes and knowing that like Naganadel knocking out one thing, and then potentially just using my Guzzlord to take 2 more prizes is huge. Plus, Brayden's Pokemon aren't really able to take one-hit knockouts, so if I can just chip things and take... one sec. Is that going to play again? Ooh. Come on. Okay, one sec. Alrighty, sorry. I don't know why it just keeps freezing. It's because, like, if I don't have enough activity on my screen while the game's going on, it does that, so... I'm trying to think, but, like, Stinger makes the most sense because he doesn't have a guaranteed way to take one-shots right now, because the Coco isn't on the board. He has Coco GX. So then I can take a knockout, he might be able to Coco, but then if I can knock out the Coco, then I win the game. So that was the thought process I was going through, but I actually choose to Oak setup. I'm not sure if this was really the play. It might be okay, but I'm not too sure. I don't know why I'm looking at that Blacephalon like that's an option right now. It has to be that Poipole or that Noibat. It's one or the other. You don't have another choice. Or you just take the Zorua and then leave a bench space open in case, you know, maybe I draw into Lele. I think I already have Lele on my board. I could be wrong. I think I do have Lele there though. But like, I don't know. I'm not sure what I'm doing here. I think the play maybe was to red and blue because I'm going to go to Rogue Ring again. But the issue is that my second Sneasel is prized. So I don't have a way of getting to Weavile. So I'm going to choose to potentially commit to a third Poipole. Oh wow, we do, okay. So we're going balls to the wall here. We're going to be able to attach another energy to our Hooper if we want to. And then we'll see where we go from here. I'm thinking like at this stage, I am very much contemplating the Stinger. I make a bit of a misplay on this turn, I believe. I attach an energy to that Poipole. I definitely shouldn't have done that. And I think with the Rogue Ring, I should be taking... take double Naga, but I don't have an applicable target in hand, so... Not sure about that. I think I'd rather take Naga Zoroark here. Like, not take the I don't know what I've just done there. Okay, so the reason I must have done that is because I thought that there was a good chance that Brayden might just retreat the Pachirisu into the Nuzzle Shot the Dene again and knock out my Zorua. And I just sat there thinking, well, if I'm going to Stinger, then I might as well give him that bait as a knockout instead of trying to chip the Hooper, like he could do. And if he doesn't do it, then I could potentially bring up Zoroark and start going ham. But I realised at this stage that I am so far behind on, well, and that also sucked, that Faber hitting the Hoopers, god damn it, Faber hitting Hooper's retreat. But Brayden gives me a lucky break here, and he plays the escape rope, which allows me to bring this Poipole to the active, and I think he's going to choose the Dedenne again. It looks like my bait has actually paid off, so the plan that I had in motion has actually worked. He chooses to target down the Zorua. I'm like, okay, now I actually might have a chance to do something here. Because we draw into the reset stamp too, I'm like, okay, now there's actually options. So, I could choose to evolve one of the Poipoles into this big Naganadel, and then discard the charging up Naganadel to draw some more cards. But yeah, I'm thinking, okay, if I do Stinger, there's no way that Brayden can get a return knockout even with like double E-power with his current board, because he currently has 7 energies on board. He gets 8 next turn with 2 E-powers that would be enough to get knockout, but Brayden only runs 2 and I'm going to reset stamp him, so the chances of him getting to it are super unlikely. So I'm going to Ultra Conversion here, going to get that Ultra Conversion going, and we are going to see some pretty interesting cards. I definitely think that like Guzzlord and the Field Blower also is probably something to discard here. So I'm thinking the Noivern and the Field Blower are probably the things that I'd want to discard off his hand. Lusamine could still be useful potentially, although no, my Stadium's gone, so I may just discard Lusamine. I actually choose to get rid of Field Blower, like I said, but then I changed my mind to Lusamine because I remember that Brayden could be playing Power Plant, so I'd like a way to get rid of that. This is where I'm a little bit annoyed, because if I had not attached that energy there, it would have been much better, I think, but we do attach energy there, and it's fine. We're going to get both energies out of the deck, because if we can find Weavile, we obviously want as many energies as possible in play, and I'm going to choose to risk it for the biscuit here, guys, and we are going to declare Stinger GX. Definitely a risk, because, I mean, Brayden was already on 3 prizes, but my hope is that this unprizes my, my Weavile. Sorry, my Sneasel, so then I can get to that and get it into the field of play, and then start just taking knockouts with this Naganadel. Naganadel can currently knock out everything on Brayden's board, and yeah, he's so sneaky, I like it. Very sneaky, not exactly the play that I wanted to go for in this game by any means, but at this stage my back's kind of against the wall, so I've got to go for it. It is my way to win. So we're going to see what Brayden can do. Like I said, I think with the current board I have in place, there is no way that Brayden can get a return knockout, and he's choosing to snugly generate so that he can try and get his way to a knockout. And I'm just hoping at this stage that Brayden doesn't have a lot of energy left that he can actually use. Because if that's the case, that puts us in a really strong position. And if he can't get a knockout, then it does also open up the potential. Well, I can't really get Baby Blacephalon out this turn. The annoying thing is that Brayden was the one that drafted a Xurkitree, and then also drafted Beastring, which is annoying because I would have loved Beastring. Beastring on this turn after Stinger, if I don't get return knockouted, would have been amazing. So all he can do there is get, I think, 1 energy off of his Snuggly Generator, 2 energies off the Snuggly Generator. That is rough for Brayden. So I actually get super fortunate here and top deck an Ultra Ball, which means that I can potentially search to get Weavile soon. So we know that there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 energy in place. There is a chance that Brayden could get a knockout on the Naganadel on the following turn. That could be kind of scary, so I need to try and accelerate to getting this Weavile into play, which means discarding that Guzzlord and drawing like a madman. We don't hit it just yet, but we do have the Ultra Ball, which we can use to get rid of Darkrai and the Noibat, and that will find us that Sneasel, which is definitely the card I need right now. I can get a knockout here, potentially search for some more stuff. I definitely want the Sneasel on the bench to get things going. We have an energy we can attach to the Hooper, so if anything does happen to Naganadel, we do potentially have a chance to just attack with the Hooper. And we have the Jet Needle here for the knockout. So we just need 2 more prizes to win the game, and I'm thinking we might be able to just outpace Brayden here. If he can't take a one-shot knockout, we could be in a very good spot. Even if he can now, we can follow up with a reset stamp, which is also incredibly impactful. So this is great. I can also use Acerola on the Naganadel here to completely heal it if it doesn't die, and then bring the Hooper into active and attach an energy to it. So that could also be insane. So this is the turn for Brayden, right? This is the big turn. He needs to be trying to get a knockout. We see 1 Electro Power, but remember, in this draft, he can only have 2. So he needs to be able to find his other Electro Power in order to get a knockout at this stage. If he has another Lightning Energy, he can play 2. So we see him go for Nuzzle Gathering, doesn't find anything. He currently has 4, 6, 7 energy in play. Even with 2 Electro Powers, he will be 10 damage short, so he needs another Lightning Energy in play in order to be able to go for the double E-Power knockout. If Brayden was able to get that double E-Power knockout, I could have potentially lost this game for sure if I wasn't able to top deck like a Darkness Energy or anything like that, I would have been in a really bad spot. Now, he does go for the Copycat, and it's only going to draw him 3 cards though, so he's just hoping for the best here. But I don't think Brayden's going to be able to find what he needs to be able to get to this knockout. Like I said, the only way that Brayden can really get to it is if he's able to attach another energy onto the board and play another Electro Power. If he can get both of those down, then we're in trouble. But we just see a Powerful Spark that is not enough for knockout, and I'm like, okay, we're good. We see a Fishing Rod as well, which is very nice to see. We do have the Reset Stamp if I want to play it. I think we do just throw the Fishing Rod out there because, you know, why not? It can be played. I'm just going to pause this to make sure we get back to where we were. There we go. Yeah, we are going to... Yeah, I was contemplating. I'm like, yeah, I'll play the Fishing Rod. It's fine. And I think we just grab back a Naga because it's just an extra Ultra Beast to discard. And we can also evolve the Poipole on the bench with it if we ever draw into something like that. And I realize here, I'm like, oh, okay, I can just bring up the Hooper. Acerola brings all the energy back to my hand as well. And then the cool thing is I could actually evolve the Poipole on the bench into the Stinging Aganadel again if I wanted to, which is super nice. But yeah, this is the play because Brayden, after I knock out this Raichu, he has one more left, but it won't be able to net a knockout. And then I am a lot of prices up on Brayden, and I think I would just be in a really solid position. So we are going to Acerola here, get that full heal going, get the Hooper into the active, and then be able to just attach a Darkness Energy. We can actually Ultra Convert and discard the Stinging Aganadel here because we don't need it anymore to draw some more cards, and we actually draw into red and blue. So next turn we have the game locked up with the red and blue. Not sure why I benched that Poipole. It's probably better to save it. We are going to stamp Brayden again. We basically have game in hand because we knock this out, and then next turn we can go for the red and blue onto the Sneasel to make it into a Weavile, and then that'll give us 2 energy from the deck. We have 1 more to attach from hand to be able to knock out and secure the game on any of Brayden's Pokemon that are currently in play. The only card that could save Brayden right now is if he was able to top deck into the Tapu Koko GX, but even if he does that, through the red and blue and putting Tapu Lele into the active, we can copy Energy Drive, and since Koko would absorb all 6 of those energies and we'd be able to get 3 energy onto Lele, that would be 180, which I believe is enough to one-shot a Tapu Koko GX, and that would finish the game. Because I believe Koko GX is 170 HP, so I had almost every single route covered here. We do see a big Copycat from Brayden, but I just don't think there's any card that he could find here that will save him because he can't get to a knockout. So after being 3 prizes down at the start of the game, a really well-timed Stinger into some really clutch knockouts seems to have secured us this game, which I found super surprising. I didn't really think we were going to be able to win this one, but it looks like we're in a commanding position now. We only need 1 more knockout, and if there's anything that my deck is good at doing, that's getting knocked out. And he says he'll go second, so I believe Brayden is going to concede this game. He is going to bring the Raichu active, and he is going to go for the Powerful Spark here, get a bit of damage off. But what, like I said, we can do next turn is just go for the red and blue onto the Weavile, and then just ice the game with that. So we are just going to, I don't know why Ultra Conversion first, that was stupid. Definitely should have just gone with the red and blue into Weavile and just wrap the game up there. Again, not sure why I did that, but yeah, I can just go. I don't know, there's a kid like screaming outside my house. It's kind of weird. Yeah, we just discard those guys. We get to the Weavile, and then I was like, oh, do I have enough Darkness Energies left in deck? I had so many Darkness Energies left in deck. So boom, boom, attach there. And there we can pay the 3 retreat costs. Boom, boom, boom. Out to Weavile. I was about to say Shadow Connection, but no. Claw Slash is the attack, and we do wrap up game 1. Definitely come from behind win there. I was pretty stoked with that one. Let's go to game 2. Damn, I did the wrong thing again. Alrighty, here we are with game 2. So I believe Brayden said that he wanted to go first, and I was like, that's fair enough. Psych, he makes me go first. And I was a bit like, ooh, okay, that's a little bit scary, Brayden, but alright, I can do that. So I do choose, well, I don't choose, I go first, and all I have right now is Poipole, and Brayden happens to start with both Emolgas, and I was like, okay. So I discard, so since I didn't see the Power Plant through all of Brayden's plays, given I had Ultra Conversion and potential for trade last game, I just assumed that he's not main decking Power Plant, because if he was, I feel like maybe he could have played it last turn and, you know, done something with it. So maybe a bad decision by me, maybe. I also grabbed the Zoroark Zorua here because I can just go Zoroark and then potentially go off next turn. The red and blue in my hand is slightly dead, but it's not too bad right now. I feel like we're still in an okay position for sure. The only tricky Pokemon that Brayden has that can get potentially big knockouts is the Tapu Koko GX. However, its GX attack can then be copied by Zoroark using Trickster to be able to get big knockouts as well. Because I think Koko's GX attack does 50 damage for each energy that your opponent has in play. So I could definitely punish that with Zoroark if I ever needed to. So we're going to see what Brayden can muster here. Opening with both Emolgas means that he's going to be able to get to all of his good boys. He might be even able to get to a Dedenne this turn and then just immediately Nuzzle Shot and knock out my Zorua, which I'm sure was his plan at this stage, but I don't know if we're going to be able to see it happen. Feeling okay-ish about the current board state. It's definitely not ideal. However, I do feel like we have a good opportunity to build on this next turn due to the fact we have the red and blue. If we were able to go Zoroark into red and blue and then immediately went for a Stinger play again, we could put a lot of pressure on Brayden, of which he might not be able to recover from, because currently he has Snuggly Generator, but not a lot of energy in play, so could be another effective strategy that I could go for. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. We do see a Snuggly Generator happen here, so there are 4 energy in play right now. Definitely not enough for Brayden to be able to do anything super crazy on me, but we do see that all the energy are there, and I'm going to draw for turn, and I hit the Lele for turn. Not a great card, honestly, to actually draw into. It doesn't do a whole lot for me in this situation. I have all the supporters I need already in hand. I could use this opportunity to grab the Professor Oak's Research, though. Well, it's not Research, Setup, and that could be nice, but I actually think I choose to discard it with Trade, because I just don't think it's going to be that useful. And I was hoping we could draw into an Ultra Beast to discard with an Naganadel and then go from there. But now I'm thinking, okay, maybe I could go for the Stinger play because I have the energy now and Brayden doesn't have a lot of things set up. So I could go balls to the wall here and choose to go for the Stinger, and that could be really strong. So that was definitely something that was floating through my mind. If I was going to do it, then I potentially want to use this Cherish Ball to actually search my deck to make sure that Naganadel is in there in order to be able to do the play. It's going to be really awkward if I attempt to red and blue here and then can't find the Naganadel to be able to get off the Stinger. Definitely feels like it could be a really strong attack this early in the game, though. Brayden doesn't have a whole lot set up, but I am concerned about the potential of his Koko coming down and me not really having a lot of ways around it. So I am kind of toing and froing about this choice. I don't really know where I want to go with all of this. Definitely a tricky choice, but red and blue is definitely a viable option. The other play I have is just Cherish Balling for a Guzzlord, evolving the Poipole in the active, but then I would have been really mad. Like, if I choose to evolve the Poipole in the active to the Ultra Conversion Naganadel, then I'm going to kick myself for getting rid of that Lele, because I could just use a Lele to guarantee Oak's Research, and that would have been much better. So I think I am feeling it, and I am going to go for the red and blue here. And we are going to get rid of Cherish Ball, looks like, and the Ultra Conversion Naga. Well, that's fair, because we have the Acerola, and then we can go in with the attack. So I think that is the choice I'm going to make in terms of discard. Acerola makes sense to hold on to. I am thinking maybe Acerola instead because of how good Ultra Conversion is. I do choose to ditch the Acerola. Maybe I'll end up regretting that, we'll see. But for now, we do get this Naga up, and we do have the energy in hand. So I can either choose to Stinger here, or I can choose to put pressure on by just going for an immediate knockout with Jet Needle. Like I said, Brayden doesn't have a lot set up right now, so it could be a really easy attack to go for here that he can't exactly rebound from straight away. So I think I am just going to go straight for that Jet Needle, get the first knockout of the game, and put Brayden under some pressure here. There's not a whole lot that he can... let's just try and fix that. There we go. And we grab a Poipole, which is amazing, because that now makes the Naganadel in our hand live, which is great. So whatever we draw into, next turn we can just discard with Zoroark, get this Poipole down, get the Naganadel rolling. So as much as I didn't like discarding that Acerola, it looks like it may have been the right choice given the prize we just got. And Brayden's in a bit of a tricky spot. He doesn't have an attack he can really declare here that is going to do a lot of damage, and I can knock out everything on his board with the Jet Needle from Naganadel. So I'm curious as to what he's going to go for. We know he has double Nuzzle Gathering coming down, So he can get another Pachirisu. We see a Raichu, but currently Powerful Spark is only doing 60 damage with the amount of energy on board. The most it can get up to is 140 this turn with the double Electro Power and having a Raichu down with an energy attachment. So we'll see. I wonder what he's going to do. We see a Pachirisu come down, so we know that Brayden could just go for another Snuggly Generator. That could net me another knockout though, and that's definitely something I'm keeping my eye on, is getting that knockout with the with the Jet Needle on the Snuggly Generator. We see a Wick come down. I don't mind this, like obviously I'm down for getting 6 cards, but I did kind of like what I had. Then I remember, oh, it's not 6 cards, it just shuffles me back into whatever I had. And fortunately though, he does shuffle me into a Professor Oak setup. And I have a pretty easy discard as well in my Noibat, which I don't need for this matchup at all. So feeling pretty good about the situation right now. Definitely was a bit scary before, but Brayden right now doesn't have a whole lot set up. It looks like he will just attempt to Nuzzle and fail it. So not looking too great at all for Brayden. We top deck a Darkness Energy. We can then go for the Oaks setup to get all the boys on the board. So we can go Sneasel, we can go Guru here for sure, and we get the Poipole down because we already have the Zoroark, and playing Guru right now is nuts. We can just go for the pretty free Instruct, get 2 more cards, and then grab another 2 after using Zoroark. So we can just go straight for the Instruct here. There's no point benching that Noibat. I'd rather keep that bench space. But hitting these 2 cards can be pretty clutch because it can draw us into some very nice things. Like mainly red and blue would be the best thing to be drawn into. We hit the Noivern GX, which sucks because I probably am going to discard it. Noivern GX is just not very good in this matchup, frankly. Brayden doesn't really... Brayden does use some item cards, but primarily he is using basic energy. So the whole reason I have Noivern is to disrupt the special energy uses that a lot of other decks have. So yeah, Noivern is probably going to be the discard of choice here. We are going to see that go, and we are going to draw into some pretty interesting cards. Nothing too impactful though. Next turn we can probably get an energy onto Zoroark, hopefully through the prize card we're about to get, and then also going for Instruct into trade. So, pardon me. We are going to get the knockout here with the Jet Needle, which is awesome. And we're going to see if we can maybe get an energy off the prizes here. That would be perfect. It is an Ace Roller, which is also very nice. If we get damaged by the Raichu into this next turn, we can actually Ace Roller up our Ganondorf, and then we can bring up the Zoroark, attach a Darkness Energy to it, and then get the knockout with Righteous Beating. But we see a Rosa, and this is where things get scary, because Brayden gets a Rosa, and the game is about to get kind of crazy. Rosa was a card he was using his null decks before, and what it can do for his deck is he can search for a Pokemon, a trainer card, and an energy. So obviously he's going to get the Lightning Energy, the ones that he runs, I believe, from memory. And then what else is Brayden going to be finding is what I was wondering. And we see a Marnie and a Coco GX, and I was like, oh boy, there's the Coco, he's here. And that definitely had me a little bit concerned. There's the Coco right there. And we see the energy getting attached to him, and he goes up to the active, and I'm like, oh boy. And the scary part was, right, if he doesn't... Okay, so he attaches the energy there. I'm like, okay, don't. So I have the potential for Trickster to just knock out, which is great. But what I forgot was that if he has an Electro Power in hand, he can just knock me out right now with the GX attack. He benches a Pikachu, he has 4 card hand, I know one of them is Marnie, another one of them is Power Plant, I was like, oh no, and the other one is Electro Power, and I was like, oh no! Tapu Thunder gets their knockout, and I'm like, oh Jesus, this is bad now. This is really, really bad. So I'm like, what the hell do I put active? I can't use Trade with Zoroark, because I don't have a Stadium Bump. I can't use Instruct with a Rangaroo, because I don't have enough cards. I have too many cards in my hand, so I was like, holy shit, Brayden has just in one turn completely changed the complexion of this game. So I was like, holy shit, what am I gonna do? Like, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna bring active? And I think the choice I end up making is the Zoroark, because I'm like, okay, if I get a Darkness Energy, I get a knockout. But I don't get a Darkness Energy, and I'm like, okay, I could play Lana's Fishing Rod to put a card back into my deck like the Stinger. I can bench both of my Guzzlords, and then I can Oranguru for 1. And if that 1 is a Darkness Energy, then I can use Trickster GX to copy his Tapu Koko's ability, his GX attack, and it will knock out the Koko because he has 4 energies in play. So I was like, okay, I can put back in maybe the Lele, could be quite good for later in the game. So we're going to go double Guzzlord. I was like, this is real dicey though, this is really bad, because it's just relying on one card, right? And if I hit the card, then it's awesome. If I don't hit the card, then it's bad. So, like, I could hit so many good cards off of this Instruct that could save me. I think I choose either the Poipo or the Lele. Lele makes the most sense, though, because it can guarantee, even if Zoroark gets knocked out, that I have a follow-up, and I'm like, okay. And now we pray. Now we pray that Oranguru can draw us into a Darkness Energy, and if it can draw us into a Darkness Energy, then we can put ourselves in a commanding position in this game. So please, Oranguru, if you can give us anything here, give us a Darkness Energy, and it is a Charging Up Meganodon. But that's okay, Charging Up Meganodon is still good, because like I said, we have follow-up plays heading into next turn, potentially. We can charge up, get an energy on the board. Now we can't really attack with Zoroark, which sucks here, because it does mean he gets a free hit off with his Koko, and I'm like, okay, he's kind of got me in a bit of a bad spot here, but I do have the Acerola heading into next turn, right? So I can charge up in the Ganondorf, I have Acerola, I can throw up one of these Guzzlords as a sack, and then set up the Zoroark again, and maybe things will be okay. He doesn't have the Nuzzle Shot to Dene down, so I know that that can let me set up the Zoroark safely. So I knew I had a few more turns to buy, because the Koko had no way to one-shot me. But unfortunately, what ends up happening on this turn is that Brayden's internet disconnects. We were at a point of the game that was very, very hard to recreate, and Brayden actually decided that he was going to forfeit from here. So I'm going to pause because, I'm going to pause the board setup. So this is what the board state was when the game finished. So it was going to go into Brayden's turn. Now, there is no way that I could have known what would happen over the next few turns, but what I can tell you guys is the plays that I probably would have made on those next few turns. So 100% if this Koko is just going to go in and attack my Zoroark, then I am most likely going to Acerola it next turn and bring one of my Guzzlords up into active, preferably the non-GX one, just because he's kind of just fine to chill up there. I keep charging up with the Ganondorf, so I always have energy in play if I need them, and then with the energy I have attached to the Zoroark, I just reattach that on the next turn with Acerola. Now, obviously, if he damages me with a Koko, and then I can reply on the next turn with Zoroark going for the Trickster and get the knockout, then I'm feeling great, obviously. Because then I can get the Ganondorf set up, and that could be another potential revenge killer, and then I'm just a Weavile away from ending the game anyway. So it really depended on my top deck, but I think if I didn't draw into a Darkness Energy or a way to, you know, see more cards, then I definitely would have been playing Acerola that turn. I could have also drawn into like Lusamine, and Lusamine could have allowed me to get rid of the Power Plant because I could have got Altar of the Moon back, and that would have been great. So there were a lot of like outs that I had, but I can't say with absolute certainty that I would have been able to draw everything I needed. So I think my play would have been just playing it safe and Acerolaing, back up the Zoroark, bringing the small prize Guzzlord into the active, and then reattaching the energy to Zoroark and going from there, knowing that Brayden always had the energy they needed in play for me to Trickster and get that knockout, and then we could go from there. Potentially I could have also sent up the GX, purely because I don't think Brayden could have got the return knockout with Raichu, and then if I drew into Weavile and was able to bump the stadium, then I could have gone in with the little Guzzlord, knocked out Raichu for game. So maybe I could have brought up the Guzzlord GX. I could have maybe gone for the Eat Sloppily as well if I felt risky enough, but that is a massive risk to take and probably not one that I was willing to take. But yeah, GG to Brayden. Definitely unfortunate that it ended that way. I think that it was actually very close because of how bonkers that Rosa turn was for him. It definitely could have put him back into the game. I think that I could have bypassed a few more turns though without taking too critical of damage. Like losing one more prize would have sucked, but if I get the return KO on Koko, and then he can't return KO with the Raichu, I get another knockout with Zoroark, and then I'm just one knockout away from winning the game. He needs 2, and at that stage I should be able to win. So we take that. That win takes us to 5-1 and means that we are secured in the finals. Jordan and Aaron have already secured themselves there, and I've just got myself there now, and so has Adrian, because heading into my game against Adrian, he is 3-3, and I am 5-1. But because Adrian played Brayden, even if Adrian also goes to 3 and 4 like Brayden, he will win that because he beat Brayden during the regular season. So playoffs are basically confirmed already, but we are going to show you guys that game I had against Adrian coming up. So hopefully you'll enjoy that. Thank you guys so much for watching this. If you did, like the video, subscribe, all that good stuff. But anyway, my name is Averd.